for us. So, Bernard, Macron walking very much a political tightrope here, isn't he? What are the challenges in trying to appoint a prime minister that will please everyone?
Immense, Neve, essentially. Now, when Emmanuel Macron was basking in the afterglow of a successful Paris Olympics, he met some athletes at the Élysée Palace, and he said to them, "We don't want life to get back to normal." Well, we are back to normal, and normal is a politically divided France after those snap elections that Macron himself called, essentially to clear the air, but in fact creating more confusion, giving us these three different political groups with no overall majority. It's unprecedented in France that they've been this long without a prime minister being appointed as a consequence of the result of the elections. Attal is still this caretaker prime minister. There's been a lot of criticism from opposition parties that Macron has taken so long to appoint a prime minister. Well, now he's meeting these political parties, and through these talks is supposed to emerge a consensus name, perhaps, that might be able to withstand a vote of confidence in Parliament. We know that coming out of those talks, the left-wing alliance, they've said that they have been constructive and honest talks, and they say that Macron recognised that there was a need for a change and that there needed to be an honest and reconstructive change.
So, Bernard, as you say, talks have started, but how long might this all last? When might we see a new French Prime Minister?
Well, the challenge is that there has this name that comes forward, that whoever Macron is constitutionally obliged to appoint a prime minister, it needs to be somebody who can withstand a vote of confidence in Parliament. Now, there is this name, Lucie Castex, who's the finance director of the Paris City Hall. She's the one that the new Popular Front wants, this left to far left coalition. Macron seems reluctant. He seems more interested in creating a coalition more of the centre and the left and excluding the far left. But this far left, left-wing coalition is sticking to its guns. Whatever name he produces, though, as I say, it's got to withstand that vote in Parliament. If it doesn't, then we have to start all over again. But you can't have parliamentary elections here in France for another year constitutionally after one's taken place. So really, they really need a name that the Parliament can get behind. Maybe, speculation is, next week we might hear who it is.
All right, Bernard, many thanks for explaining all of that. Bernard Smith, live for us in Paris. Let's speak to Jacques Reland, who's a senior research fellow at the Global Policy Institute. He's in Saint Malo, France. A very warm welcome to Al Jazeera. So the distraction of the Paris Olympic Games is all drawing to a close. We are now in, as our correspondent said, uncharted political territory, a parliament with no clear majority. Is French politics in peril?
Traditional French politics, yes, is in peril because, as you said, we are totally uncharted territory. Never in the Fifth Republic has the president had to cohabit with a parliament with no majority. Before, we've had a socialist president with a right-wing government, but the right-wing government had a majority and was able to conduct the policy. It was the same when Jospin was elected with over 300 seats and was able to carry out his policies under a right-wing president. This time, no party is in a position to form a majority government within a party. The biggest party only represents 30% of the seat. And in that case, it's the left. And whether the left will be able to form a government which will get the backing of the parliament, the majority in parliament, that remains to be seen.
When you talk about the left, the assumption is that it's one sort of unified, monolithic bloc, isn't it? But it's not like that at all. There are those on the left that would really balk at the idea of someone like Jean-Luc Mélenchon speaking for them. I mean, how divided, how at odds is the left within itself?
Absolutely. I mean, the current LFP, Nouveau Front Populaire, the alliance of LFI, LFI, Unbound France, with some government socialists, with some Greens, etc., was, in my opinion, initially purely an electoral pact in order to get as many seats as possible. It worked beyond their expectation, and they became the biggest group. But this group is very divided. There's nothing much in common. And that was Macron was hoping when he called the election, that the Socialist Party was a moderate social democratic party, able to get on with his own party, would split with the LFI. But they haven't, for many reasons, and one of them being electoral. Very often, in order to be elected, they need the support of LFI voters. So that gamble failed. But maybe if they manage to find, currently, the leader of the NFP, or the candidate proposed by NFP, is not the leader, Lucie Castet, said she's ready to work with other parties to even form a coalition government, which is absolutely not possible for Jean-Luc Mélenchon and his supporters. And at the same time, the center group, Macron's group, is not even itself in a position to form. The new prime minister will not come from the government's party. Macron has accepted that he's lost the election, his party has lost the election. So they're going to try to find this rare bird, a kind of either center-right or center-left prime minister, with able to appeal to the soft left and maybe lead to a split of the Nouveau Front Populaire.
Is there a danger here? Is there a danger here that in trying to form this, what do you call it, this cordon sanitaire, the sanitary cordon around the far right, that the centrists, the Macron-supporting parties and the left are so much at odds, so much in disagreement, that it simply plays into the hands of the far right ahead of what is essentially going to be the bigger prize, the presidential election in 2027?
But the presidential election, the fact that there will be, which has been the dominant election in France, is what muddies the water. Because it would be possible to imagine that France would have a coalition government ranging from the socialists and even the Greens to the Republican right. That would be possible. In any other country, it would be possible. But they would exclude absolutely the National Front. The numbers are there, unfortunately, for the tenets of such an approach, which is shared by many European countries. We have coalition government, but coalition government is not part of the French tradition. So it's opposed to opposition politics, as sure. Maybe many were hoping that this new format, this new parliament, where the blocks there's about 3 blocks more or less equal, divided, would lead to such an approach to politics, and with where people from different parties could agree on a common program. That was the dream of Macron after the result of the election.
Right.
Whether it's possible, it's very unlikely.
Yeah, it appears like Macron's dream is very much in trouble. Jacques Reland, good to hear your thoughts. Jacques Reland from the Global Policy Institute.
Thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.